Zero for the day. I actually listened to it this morning while I was at the gym. And, I love the production on it, Anthony. You produced the whole entire thing, top to
Mhm.
bottom.
Yeah, whole thing from top to bottom. And this was kind of the first full album that I produced, other than the stuff I did with Jay Trey, who I started with, obviously. This was the first like full project that I've produced for an artist where my name was attached to it. And I was pushing it together with the artist, which is something I want to do more of.
Yeah.
And very exciting opportunity. And I'd obviously let Soma speak more about how he came up with the theme, and the title and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, go right ahead, Soma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the title comes from this thing that I was thinking about how in high school teachers used to always threaten you with, I'm going to give you a zero for the day if you act up. And I was like, well, what do I get every other day? Like, what are we going to average that against? And it was just, to me, it was the introduction to empty threats. And in a lot of life, you realize are just empty threats that you can either pay attention to or not pay attention to. And to me, it all goes back to that one where I remember as a kid being like, this is this is pretty BS. Like, this is pretty
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
It was like, what? So I realized that adults aren't that smart. And now that I've become an adult, I can confirm we're not that smart.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, man. When you said that, that definitely hit close to home. Hearing that teacher tell you, "You're gonna get a zero for the day," and
yeah.
and just listening to it. One of the things that I like about you, and I think I told you this the last time, you have a very like comedic style, but at the same time, you're talking about some real issues. I heard a little bit of everything from politics to maybe like experience you had with women and
Yeah.
just uh, a lot of talking on there. And what was your concept as far as like, and Anthony, I kind of feel you as far as like being able to work with a lot of different, or collaborate rather, with other artists on projects. That's something that I want to start doing as well. But like for example, I'm working with this artist right now out of Detroit by the name of POEGB.
Hmm.
And like when I'm working on beats, sometimes I may make something. I'm kind of like, well, I think this will fit him, type of thing. Now, whenever you're making something, are you kind of like that with Soma? Like, do you make something with him in mind, or maybe do you like send him a pack of beats and you're like, hey, just pick something out of these? Like, how do y'all work together?
Yeah. I'd say it's a little bit of both because for me, a lot of times I'm just making stuff that I feel like making every single day. And then I have it kind of sitting off to the side. Like if I'm not posting it on BeatStars or something, I'm just setting it off to the side. And I'm kind of waiting for the opportunity to send it to the right person. So for Soma stuff, it was the exact same thing. Like I remember, I think he told me the idea for the project, and I started just batching together probably 10 to 15 beats and just putting them to the side. So a lot of them I had already had made for maybe a year or so. They were just
Wow.
sitting there waiting, or they were ideas that were meant for someone else and that person passed on them. So I was just like, well, they'll fit this project. Let me start sending them over. And then from there, once we got the foundation built, some of the songs came later, like while we already started the process. You would tell me like, hey, here's an idea I have. Do you have anything like this? And so I would go and maybe make something or even see if I had something else in the stash ready to go. I try to just stay as prepared as possible. That way, I don't have to create everything from scratch and take more time. I kind of want to be prepared in advance, no matter what project it is. So it was definitely like that for this project too, where I just wanted to come in and give him the right production for what he was trying to speak on with the album. And for me, I wanted to do beats that were definitely more fun, like you said, to match, his style, because he can rap over a lot of different types of production. But
Yeah.
I think this was a good marriage between our two sounds because I go for more, I guess, more serious stuff anyway. But I think it was cool that he was discussing more serious topics within the project, to kind of match the style of production. But for me, it was probably more of the more laid back beats that I've done that aren't super serious, even though there are some in there that are. It was kind of a cool thing to be able to blend the two worlds together on this thing and make it what it was. And it was crazy. It ended up being, I think, 13 songs total. And I think we only started with a few, and then it kind of just grew from there. So
Wow.
My
Yeah.
goal is typically that whenever a producer gives me beats, I try to write to every single beat the producer gives me.
Wow. Okay.
Because like I just feel like they're the ones that jump out at me right away. And then they're the ones that I kind of see as more of a challenge. And I also like to think of it as, I think every time you get beats from a producer, there's at least one or two of them that have been sitting on the shelf for a while. They're like, maybe this is the time that like it gets
Yeah.
taken. And I always want to
yeah,
give those beats some attention. I never know which ones they are. But like, it's always my goal to write to every single beat that someone sends me for a project, And then, they don't all make it, but